So we had spoken, and you went to do your sports management course in Bombay, Mumbai.
Yes, yeah.
Right.
So I finished my bachelor's in July of 2017,
Right.
and I did it in BBA,
Mhm.
so business administration. And I took a call. So I wanted to stay in the sports field because no other field, gives us that much passion and pleasure than
Right.
sports, right? So I wanted to do something in sports. So I wanted to learn, and because we travel so much for tournaments,
Mhm.
and so I wanted to learn about the tournaments
Right.
and events and all, that side. So I gave it a research, and I thought, yeah, I can do a 11-month course, which was a 12-month course, which was a post-graduation diploma. So it was 1 year course in
Mhm.
global sports management.
Right.
And after a lot of research, I finalized on IN Wood Sports Management, which is it's an institute part of EMDI, which is one of the biggest event management institutes in India.
Right.
So they branched out and started sports management, sorry. And so yeah, I joined that and joined the global branch. I think one of the a pull from that course was the 2.5 months of internship in Dubai, which interested me a lot. So
Okay.
because
Hold up
yeah,
right there. So I want to know more about your experience
yeah,
just in India with sports management as a course.
yeah. Yeah, so this course, I think it gave us basics. It taught us all the Indian industry related problems and plus points and minus points of how the sports works. So
Right.
it taught us there are so many more sectors to sports industry than just turning pro.
Mm-hmm.
So you can work into events, you can work into sponsorship, you can work into media and advertisement.
Right.
You can work now. The digital world is becoming so strong,
Right.
so you can branch out as a content writer, social media marketer, or digital marketer to be precise.
Right.
So these were all the branches of the big sports tree that we learned. Interestingly, I was fascinated by sports events and marketing side of
Mm-hmm.
the sports industry. So yeah, I try to major on that side, and yeah, I got
What,
to learn a lot.
what practical, I mean, is it like another, just like your BBA course, or do you have like a lot of practical assignments during the year before obviously your Dubai trip? Do you have
Correct.
a lot to do?
Yeah. So when I joined this course, my batch was the second batch out of the whole thing when it started. So
Right.
in 2016, the sports program started, and 2017 was when I joined, which was my batch, which was the second batch. And I think the institute was still evolving with their program. So we did do quite a lot of project work.
Mm-hmm.
So initially started off with brainstorming, ideas of how to, market a sports event, and
Right.
then it went. The same sport event went into a practical side where we had to organize a sport event from the scratch with
Mm-hmm.
the budget that was given to us.
Right.
Then we were, working in because our faculty were from the industry who are running a full-fledged sports company where they do recreational sports events and professional sports events. So we got to work on the event
Right.
days. So we did everything from course martial in a marathon
Mm-hmm.
to being a ball boy in a tennis tournament or a football tournament. From everything. So I can narrate a instance that came into my mind just now. So we did a football event. So initially the the faculty who was doing this event, came up to us and he told us that this our job was to manage the whole event.
Wow.
He didn't tell us what we are going to be doing, and he said you will be on the event day and you have to figure out everything on your own. Okay,
Wow.
so it was not a big event; it was a small
Mhm.
event, basically to give us an idea of how the event works. Because major event and small event are the same, but the scale differs, right? So that's all it is. And he was there with us, and basically we started off the event just by just ball bowling. I was just standing there and throwing out the ball. Then gradually, within half an hour, we went from that to managing the officials, getting them on board our boat, between the matches. Then we went into player managing, where the teams had to be managed. And because there were 42 teams playing over 3 days of time, we had to make sure all the teams are on time. Because if the schedule is not proper, then the whole tournament goes haywire, right?
Right.
So the schedule had to be taken care of. So we graduated from small to major roles. So yeah, that was one of the great experience that we had. And
Wow.
of course, draw making.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to make the draw and the knockout draw, especially
Mm-hmm.
because once the round robins are over, you had to make a round knockout. Especially in football tournaments, right? When you see the leagues where you have teams which are divided into groups, and then from groups there are top teams who qualify into
Of
knockout.
course. Right.
Yeah, so we had to do that because I've never played a professional football match. That was the first time I got to experience a professional football match
Mhm.
working on it. I was
Right.
very nervous. I didn't know how it's going to go, but it turned out well because we had confidence, we could pull it off, and it was fun. It was really fun.
Right.
So, yeah, that was great experience. It was indirectly building us to the internship that we were going to do in Dubai.
Right.
So,
So
yeah,
it's
that
great. I
was
mean, um, you are basically given a whole, proper grassroots, picture, unlike probably
correct.
an MBA where, you directly you do your course and then you directly take up a managerial position or something. Here you
Correct.
actually gotten, grassroots picture of it. Great. So yeah. So now let's go to Dubai. Tell me about Dubai. What do you do there?
Oh, yeah.
Your experience. So
So, yeah.
before you continue, what is the name of the sports management institute?
Yeah, it's called Ironwood Sports. Ironwood, IRONWOD, Ironwood Sports Management Global Academy.
You are
So
obviously
this,
not. Nobody has sponsored you to um, tell this out.
no,
You're just
no,
giving.
no, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because yeah, because see, I want people to know that out of the professional career, there is a lot of opportunities out there that sports can give you. With
Mm-hmm.
right guidance, I think people can make a career in sports.
Right.
So all you require is passion and open mind that you can
Right.
do anything and everything.
Right.
So yeah, so that's why I am with sports.
So tell me about Dubai now.
Yeah, so my internship was part of the first semester only.
Mm-hmm.
So it was duration of mid-August to December end. So yeah, so our main focus was the Emirates Dubai Rugby Sevens, which is one of the major sport event in UAE.
Okay.
So it's a seven by seven rugby tournament, which happens on a 3 day course, and unexpected audience are uh, are the people who are from all over the world, and the audience come up to around 100,000 people over the
Wow.
course of 3 days. Yeah, and Dubai being one of the dry countries where liquor and alcohol is not allowed,
Mm-hmm.
uh, Dubai Rugby Seven is one of the only tournaments in the UAE where alcohol is allowed. So
Wow.
there are much more people coming in just for that.
Impressive.
And yeah, so that was one of the SOPs of that. And my internship was divided in two parts. So I interned with two different companies. The
Mm-hmm.
first company was a tennis research-based startup, which
Right.
is called Balkan Sports. So the owner was into researching the local tennis in Dubai and
Right.
how to improve it. And he basically wants to bring in a facility or a tennis center which is as good as a Morotaglo or Nick Bolletto.
Mm-hmm.
So
Interesting.
I did 1 month of research with him, where my role was basically tapping into all the major, the sports centers and academies in the world and getting information how it runs and how are their numbers and everything, how they sustain, how they make so big, how did they make so big, how many students are there and everything. So
Right.
that was quite interesting and very different. It was totally desktop, job. So that was 1 month, and the next half was with a sports, marketing company called Promo Seven, which is one of the famous and well-known sports uh, events company out there in UAE.
Right.
So which handles everything. I think which handles the whole Dubai Rugby Seven
Mm-hmm.
tournament. So it's a World Cup. So it's a World Championship series. Sorry. So this World Championship series, are played by the national teams uh, who represent their countries for points to compete in the international championship.
Right.
So it's one of the top important tournaments of their rugby calendar.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the one of the tournaments that I worked on, and there were few more which were Spinny's 92 cycle tour. So it was a 92-kilometer cycle challenge, where it was a free challenge where people would travel from across the globe to compete
Right.
because it's a recreational tournament for amateurs.
Mm-hmm.
So people, they were cyclists from around 60 to 70 countries who came in, and around 1,500 to 2,500 cyclists were
Right.
competing that time. So that was another tournament that I worked on, and I worked on. So luckily, when we went to Dubai, so
Mm-hmm.
the Sheikh of Dubai started a new fitness regime called 30 into 30, which
Oh, wow.
was 1 month of 30 minutes of fitness for the whole citizen. All
Wow.
the citizens of Dubai have to work out for 30 minutes a day,
Mm-hmm.
and
Interesting.
Promo 7 started marathons every weekend for the citizens. So it was hectic and it was really fun working on those events.
Wow.
And I worked on obstacle course race called Tough Mudder, which is a 16 and a half kilometer race in desert with
Mhm.
obstacles.
Wow.
It was fun. Yeah,
Incredible.
I even completed that challenge. It was really fun.
Wow.
So yeah, I would, elaborate a little more on my experience on the Dubai Rugby Sevens because
Sure.
I gave only for that tournament I gave in a month and a half of my time. We had no AM or PM. We were on the venue. We were working as the tournament interns.
Mm-hmm.
So we basically started our job. I started my job as an accreditation assistant,
Right.
where there are in that specific tournament there were 17,000 employees, freelancing employees, but only 8 full-time employees.
Wow.
So me and the accreditation manager were the two people who had to, you know, decide the whole ID cards and which group goes where and all
Right.
the
Security, basically.
information. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So just scouting everything was we did it, and that took me a week and a half to do that. And then I was transferred from there to the venue where I was the site intern, where we had to. We so there were 7 interns who were working on this tournament, and we were divided in groups of three.
Mm-hmm.
And the venue is huge. So if you take football field, 5 football fields is the whole venue of the tournament.
Wow.
Yeah, 5 football fields with 60 gates. So it
Mm-hmm.
had 60 different entries. So yeah, so we were given 3 to 4 gates, and we were given blueprints and workers to set
Right.
up the whole area. So we had to make sure the tents and everything had to be set up within a period of time. So we were given that responsibility. There
Mm-hmm.
were no AM, there were no PM. So the tournament was on December 3rd, and a month before the tournament, we were in the venue. So literally 3 weeks before the start of the tournament, we had a roughly around 2 hours of sleep a day. Yeah.
Jesus. Wow.
So yeah, they were yeah we
There's so much
I
work
think
involved. People don't
yeah
realize
there
that.
is yeah back end I didn't realize that till I did it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there is so much work because the event is that large scale. There is always, not double checking. There are 4 time checking for every single thing
Right.
because the main sponsors are Emirates. There is Budweiser. There's Heineken coming in,
Big
and
fish.
yeah, it's all the big fishes in this tournament, and it's about prestige because Dubai does tournaments which has to be better than the last year. So this is their motive.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
Dubai, every tournament has to be better than the last year.
Is it a
So
country thing, or is it that specific tournament, or is it
it's a con
by? Okay.
it's the Dubai thing. So
Oh,
where yeah, so every time they do a tournament, it's either lavish or nothing.
okay.
So that's
Interesting.
the kind of level because they don't have a budget. They have they give you everything you want, but all they want is lavishness in the tournament.
Wow.
So
Oh,
this is
that is
how
why even the tennis tournaments, people say the Dubai Duty Tennis Championships are like one of the best tournaments.
exactly right because you get so much out of it. The players are so much satisfied with it. So it's
Mhm.
unbelievable.
Right.
So yeah, basically that's how we did, and we worked every day for around 16, 17 hours
Wow.
non-stop. Yeah, with breaks in between. So it was unbelievable, and it was hectic. But then the event day, we just had to enjoy ourselves, and we got to experience one of the best events of that year.
That's great.
It was unbelievable experience. I mean, I did from everything. So I can tell you there was one time where I had to pull out the gate numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So there are boardings that go stickers, right? Sticker
Right.
boardings that
Right.
say what is where because there were around 350 stalls in the whole the venue,
Mm-hmm.
and to get to know where the stalls are, you need to buy hardware. All the tents are.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to learn everything because we were given 2 weeks time to learn where everything is because on the event day there are your audience are gonna come in, people are gonna come in and ask us where
Right.
what is, and you have to tell them, give them proper guidance that this is there and this is there.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to buy her the whole blueprint of the whole. So yeah, that was one, and I had to take a buggy where they were
Mm-hmm.
fortunate that we were given buggies to ride around. So we had boardings that we had to stick up. It took me 16 hours. I started from all the way in the morning. I ended up working 4 a.m. till next day morning.
Whoa.
Yeah, so
Incredible.
it was crazy. Just the whole tournament was a whole different
Mm.
experience.
But I feel that you are willing to put in that effort because it was sports, it was something you're passionate about. I don't think people would
Definitely.
put in that 16 hour, 17-hour effort if it wasn't, right? I mean, if you
Yeah,
went genuinely
yeah, I'm
interested in learning and working
correct,
with it.
correct. I think if anyone finds value in anything
Mm-hmm.
and they find it like it's their passion, I
Right,
think they can do it. It's
right.
just that. So
Mm-hmm.
you just have to find the passion and you have to see the value in it.
Right.
Because trust me, like if you have worked so hard on a tournament on the back end side, seeing the tournament come to life and being being the tournament run 3 days without any hassle, run smoothly is the ultimate joy. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Of
that
course.
that was the best experience.
So now, after Dubai, let's let's get back to our country.
India,
Tell
yay,
me, India, planet India. Tell me your experience after that. What
yay.
did you
Yeah, so same thing. Again, we were back for the second semester where we had a lot of project works to do, and I got the opportunity to work on the Tata Marathon, which happens in Mumbai
do?
every
Right,
year,
right,
right?
wonderful.
So the big marathon of India. So I got to work on that. So I was part of the small race as coach, intern, you can say,
Mm-hmm.
or volunteer or
Right.
anything. So yeah, we were marching on that and taking care of the whole site that time. So it was good experience in that, and got to work on a lot of projects as well, brainstorming a lot of new ideas on
Mm-hmm.
how a tournament can be run. Yeah, so
So,
it was a good thing.
in your so in all these projects that you have, what percentage is it where you are just you, I mean I won't say just you are an intern given a small role, and in what percentage of the time do you have to plan out things like the brainstorming session, and where you have to organize a lot of stuff from the scratch, and you're basically as a team managing the whole thing. Do you have things like that, or is it most of the time where you're an intern and you're just assigned a specific role?
I mean, in India, it's more of just an intern who is not given much of, major responsibilities, where you're just assigned a small role in a big tournament. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Okay.
majorly what internships in India, in events, I feel, internship in India are
Okay.
rather than outside. So that was major difference that I found
In Dubai.
because in Dubai, if you're an intern, you are considered as a full-time employee of that company.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
you have the same responsibilities as a full time employee,
Wow.
and you have yeah. So yeah, you're accountable for the same level as the employee, the full time
Mm-hmm.
employee. So yeah,
Interesting.
because they considered it that way, I feel we got to work so much.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, if it was another mindset of how the major things work here, I think we would have been doing just small stuff.
Right. Interesting. Okay. So, okay, but do Dubai have their own sports event management institutes, sports management institutes, and whatnot? Or
No, so
they
Dubai
don't?
did not have. They did not have. I think they have right now.
Okay.
So once we came back, I think a year after that, I think in 2019,
Mm-hmm.
the same Ironwood, the EMDI is in Dubai as well. So they just did not have a sports management, institute, the Ironwood. I think they have started the
So
sports
even
management
without
course.
Right. So even without having a sports management institute, they're able to pull off such huge events so well organized.
Yeah, because Dubai outsources most of the people, so they don't
Okay.
have full-time employees. A sports management firm or a sports marketing firm has just 4, 5, or max, single digits. That's 8 or 9. They don't go
Mhm.
about 10 employees. So they just outsource employees or volunteers or interns like us whenever they have the chance. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because their bracket of events are small and they are major, so that's why they have the leverage of outsourcing because
Mm-hmm.
there are not many events, but they have
Right.
small, but they have major with
Right.
big revenue.
Right. Interesting. So you get back to India and
Yes.
you join a company. Tell me more about that. You don't have to name it if you want, or whatever you feel comfortable with.
All
So.
right. I think I can keep it anonymous. So yeah, so I joined a sports startup here in Bangalore
Mhm.
as soon as I graduated from you know Ironwood in
Right.
2018. Uh, so yeah, basically my role was as regional head as event manager.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a Chennai-based startup which was doing really well in Chennai, and they wanted to branch out in different cities in South India. So they
Right.
branched out in Bangalore, they branched out in Hyderabad. So I was given the responsibility for Bangalore city.
Right.
So the startup had concentrated majorly on the recreational events for the target audiences were, intermediates and semi-advanced kids and everything.
Right.
So they were majorly into tennis, they were into badminton, table tennis,
Mm-hmm.
football, and swimming,
Right.
and sometimes cricket. But these were the sports that they handled, and I was majorly running badminton and tennis, and table tennis tournaments on a weekend basis. Like
Wow.
every month, at least 2 weekends, we had tennis and badminton running every
Mm-hmm.
single month and every weekend.
Wow.
So yeah, I was the regional head event manager, so I did everything from point A to point B.
Mm-hmm.
So being said, planning the events, organizing it, marketing the events, because they did not have a team here in Bangalore, so they hired another intern. So there
Mm-hmm.
were two-man team, me and the intern. So
Mm-hmm.
we just divided ourselves roles and we did everything together. So from planning the events to marketing, promotion, tie-ups with the venues,
Right.
everything we did it on our own.
Oh,
And
wonderful.
yeah, so it was hectic and it was a lot of fun. Got to learn a lot about the Indian industry.
Mm-hmm. So, what do you think is the scope of sports events management in Bangalore, the metro cities? Do you
I
think
think,
it's huge
yeah,
scope? What can be done different? What are the companies now, even in your case, what they are doing right now, and how they can improve?
yeah. So I think a lot of companies are coming up now,
Mm-hmm.
but then the scope is a lot, and I feel every academy does their own event, especially in
So,
Bangalore.
is that like an issue? Because when you say an academy is doing their own event, none of
Yeah,
them have done a sports management course. They just know tennis or
yeah,
badminton. They are not specialized in
yeah.
organizing an event. And event organizing is just not, making a draw and getting players to participate. It
Correct,
has so many
correct,
factors in terms of promotions,
correct.
marketing,
Yeah,
sponsorship. And
yeah.
here, what I feel is the academies, they just, they think it's just a windfall gain for them where they'll they'll make their money out of the entry fee, but that is not how events should ideally be working, right?
Correct, exactly. Because I feel, through my experience, that events are experienced. These kind of events, especially, are experienced to the players who want to turn pro, who are
Hmm.
still budding. So if you can give them a good experience,
Right.
you can show them like how tournaments are actually work and how tournaments should be. They
Right.
get more motivated and they are gonna because they are the future, right?
Hmm.
So if the tournaments are bad and the referees or the event manager, the organization for doing the tournament, they don't pull off or they don't do good justice, to the tournament, to the kids
Right.
who are playing. If they take sides with the kids who are playing from their academy, it's
Right.
just
Right. Right.
gonna, demotivate the other players, and
Of course.
eventually the Indian sports is gonna fall. So
Okay.
I think the roots are at the grassroots it is very important to give them good exposure. And I think
Mhm.
that's where a event manager, a sports event manager, or a sports
Right.
management, professional who has already played a sport, who
Mhm.
is into this, comes into role because he can, think from a player's point of view and from the organizer's point of view.
Right.
Most of the time where when people are organizing tournaments, they just look at from the organizer's point of view, revenue making, that is,
Right.
they don't see the benefits a player can get in a long term. They just want
Mhm.
short term and they just want
Right.
quick money.
Mhm.
That's not the case, and that's just gonna drain you out, and it's just gonna put you off because there is always a company who has a better idea and better pull, in tournaments because they have something unique which is always coming up. And
Right.
players are naturally gonna play those tournaments and they're gonna ditch your tournament.
Right.
So I feel grassroots level, your tournaments have to motivate the players more
Mhm.
than your focus being on them. Of course, revenue is part of your motive, but then if you just look at revenue and not giving back to the sport or the players or
Right.
doing justice to the players who are coming and giving you the revenue, there's no
Mhm.
point organizing because you're
Right.
not doing justice. Right?
Right.
Yeah, that's what I feel lacks in India.
Yeah. So yeah, going back to the point about what can event management companies do now? What can they do
So
different?
I think there are quite a few who are doing things differently.
Mhm.
Even the Khelo Mo India, the
Right.
initiative that was taken by government, that was a brilliant idea where they give players recognition, they give tournament experience and everything.
Right.
So something like that. There are a lot of academies who are doing this, and I remember back in the days where Pune also did a lot of local tournaments where good hefty amount of prize monies were there,
Mhm.
so players could play and support their own careers that
Right.
way. So something like that is happening, but it's happening in a very small scale.
Mhm.
So I think that has to be given more leverage and taken
Right.
up
What about
because
the
companies, yeah, because
like?
companies who do this, they can do that. They can't do that on a long term because they run out of resources. So we
Of
need
course.
support. We need a lot of encouragement and support from the government and from the players and associations,
Right.
to do this so that the players eventually benefit and the
Right.
sport benefits.
Right. So, what are some of the sports you feel, based on your experience, that there's an incredible amount of potential?
Yeah, so I feel football has one of the biggest potential in India,
Hmm.
and tennis. Tennis is also because we played the sport, we
Right.
know how the grassroots is, we know how the
Right.
potential is. So yeah, I think if we are in right direction, if the right direction is given to us, we have good potential because there's a lot of talent, and we are a hugely highly populated country, right? And
Right.
there are a lot of people now playing the sport.
Right.
It's not the focus is not just cricket. There's football, badminton, tennis, table
Hmm.
tennis, swimming.
Right.
So yeah, there are a lot of sports which are coming up, and I feel to do justice, they should be given some more recognition and focus should be more given to
Hmm.
these sports.
Right.
Yeah.
Great. So, Abrar, before we end, um, what advice can you
Yeah.
give players who are start athletes who are starting off? One and two, do you genuinely think that there's a huge scope in sports management in India, or do
Yeah.
you think they should go abroad?
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, the first question I would say athletes. So don't join a sport to make money out of it, to think at it as a career. If you're starting off playing a sport, play it as fun. So if you're having fun, things will turn out.
Hmm.
Things will, fall in place. Because if you're not having fun, if you're not enjoying the sport, you're not gonna, make it. You're not gonna make
Hmm.
it anywhere. If you enjoy the sport, then lot of doors are going to open up.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Interesting.
feel that that's one of the major, criteria people have to consider. And yeah, current scenarios, the way the world is moving and the way the sports industry is taken off, I
Mm-hmm.
think there is so much more to do rather than just being professional athlete.
Right.
People can get into management
Right.
and make as much money as a professional athlete does,
Mm-hmm.
or much more also. Agents, they
Right.
can become agents, they can be even managers.
Mm-hmm.
They can get into sponsorships,
Right.
digital sites, or even the e-gaming. The gaming industry is coming up with the Fortnites and the PUBGs going,
Right.
really big. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, just look into it, have fun, and enjoy the sport. So it will take you somewhere
Right.
for sure, definitely. Yeah, and to the second question that you asked, yeah, I mean, sports in India is just picking up. But then, if you want to learn how the things work, you have to go to. I would say it would always be reasonable to go to a country where sports is well established, like the
Mm-hmm.
US or the Europe, where sports have already been big, or the UK, where the
Mm-hmm.
football is huge, right?
Right.
So if you can go there and study, of course the course fees are gonna be a lot more, but then the experience that you get and the opportunities and the network that you make over there is
Right.
gonna, of course, give you so much more than what you spend for sure. But
Right.
yeah, in India also it's picking up. The courses are getting better, and yeah, the industry is also booming in India because of the ISL, IPL, the
Mm-hmm.
Pro Kabaddi leagues are
Right.
coming in. So yeah, just a fun fact: the Indian sport business, just the sport industry, is well over 7.7 billion
Wow.
right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so and, and all credit goes to IPL, ISL, Pro
Right.
Kabaddi League, all these. So there is high potential coming up. So yeah, definitely getting into sports management is a good option right now, rather than just going with the classic stereotypes of engineering. I wouldn't say it's bad, but then there is good scope in sports
Right.
management as well.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Abrar. It has been an
No,
honor.
my pleasure. Thank
Um,
you.
where can people find you? Like, tell me your You can tell the audience your Instagram handle and probably share your mail ID if you feel comfortable. Or
Definitely.
yeah,
Yeah. So my mail ID is abraar25@gmail.com. That's abraar25@gmail.com. And you can find me on Facebook as at Abraar Nawaz. That's Nawaz. So you can find me on Facebook as Abraar Nawaz. You can search me up on Instagram at the Goofy Border. So it's THE_GOOFYBOARDER underscore. So yeah, you can hit me up anytime. I'm happy to help anyone and everyone.
awesome. So thanks, Abrar. We're gonna have you back on our show as a guest very soon for a few other topics that we won't reveal to our audience right now. But for now,
Definitely.
it has been a pleasure talking to you.
It's
And
always good to talk to Sarva.
yeah, great man. Take care and
Thank you. You too.
stay safe, and we'll be in touch.
Definitely. Yeah. Stay safe, stay indoors, and
Yeah,
don't go
because
out.
yeah,
Thank you.